welcome to the Grandstand Golf Podcast. This is our 2021 U.S. Open Preview, Picks, and Bold Prediction Show. I'm your host, Adam Bapty, and as always, I'm joined by my brothers, Kevin.
Hey, everybody.
And Craig. Craig, you're lucky I didn't say you first. You had that wine.
I was going to say, I'm glad you didn't throw it to me. I was drinking a nice little Pinot Gris over here. How are we doing, everyone?
Man, this guy just always humble bragging from the Okanagan Valley, hey?
It's from just up the road, yeah.
Wow, what a guy. So this is, as we said, U.S. Open Preview, Picks, and Bold Predictions show. We're filming this on Sunday night, but we're going to do a quick recap of the Palmetto Championship at Congaree. Craig, you got a little recap for us?
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to get too into it, but it looked through a couple days like it was going to be Chesson Hadley and Dustin Johnson. It looked like, most of the win equity belonged to them. And unfortunately, over the weekend, they just decided that neither of them really wanted to win it. Hadley at least held on through most of 4 rounds. And then as he got home, he, 3 bogeys on his way in. Garrick Higgo really... He was, I think, the most consistent person throughout the week. He was, 68, 69, 68, 68, worked his way to 11 under, which, the stats were unlikely to say that was going to be a winning number, especially without a playoff or anything. But, come the end of 72 holes, no one else was at 11 under or better. So Garrick Higgo, a big first PGA Tour win. He's gone from a couple of, back-to-back European Tour wins in the Canary Islands to a big first PGA Tour win.
Yeah, man, Higgo, so 3 wins in his last 6 starts. Second PGA Tour start ever, his first being the PGA Championship. It's unbelievable. Has the official World Golf Ranking been updated yet for him? I don't think so.
I don't think so. But what was, you were just coming up with an analogy for what Chesson Hadley looked like as he was trying to play his last few holes.
Chesson, my coverage was early in his first couple holes. I wanted to see how he was, and then it came on late as it was getting more condensed again down the stretch.
For a little while there, it was wide open. There was a lot of people in contention there at 5 or 6 holes left.
Yeah, I think we sent out a tweet. I mean, even earlier in the day, after 4 or 5 holes, 15 players within 4 shots after he gave up 2 early on. I mean, I'm the guy who putts from 15 feet off the greens because I am worried about blading my wedge. He's got his hybrid. He had his hybrid on every hole. He didn't hit a green in regulation all day, it seemed like. Not to make a skinny joke because we're all skinny tall guys, but he did look like the newborn giraffe, fresh out of the womb, trying to make his way on the Serengeti and escape alive.
Escape the predators.
Yeah, I was rooting for him because he seems like a fun guy. He has that Instagram post with the car salesman flappy guy being is that you, Dad? He just
wavy arm inflatable tube man.
Yeah, inflatable tube man. So I was cheering for him. I threw him in my showdown lineup for round 4. Felt like it's a good enough buffer that he could have a even par round and still get the win. But it looked like his drive on 18, he thought he flared it left. It still was in the fairway. His approach shot was way long and right. His hybrid from that kind of by the grandstand got only to 10. It all looked under. It didn't look good. It was just nerve-wracking to watch it. But yeah, former PGA Tour Rookie of the Year, Puerto Rico curse. Yeah, I don't know what to say, but it was, awesome on Higgo, but it definitely was kind of a fell into his lap type win.
Yeah.
It was sneaky too because he shot a 32 on the back 9, right, with an eagle and a birdie. So he kind of came out of nowhere to even post that number. Probably thinking all along it was not going to be the winning number, but.
Well, no, and he had he was in contention early in the round and then gave a couple back and then really played well in the back. But definitely it fell into his lap, I think is a good way of putting it. But that's fine. You can take him however you can get him.
But it's shocking how many people ended up at 10 though, because all these guys must be thinking after the fact, I just needed one more. We got Hudson Swafford, Doc Redmond, Jonathan Vegas, Ty Hatton was right there, Bo Van Pelt, who got a fair bit of coverage. But yeah, all those guys thinking back, maybe if I did just kind of get that one more birdie, I'd be in that playoff.
Pelt was at 13. Oh no, maybe he's at 12. But he was tied for the lead and he dropped a couple on the way in too. It was an interesting course, tough to close out, obviously.
Yeah.
I like the stat that if Bo Van Pelt won, he would have been the youngest the youngest PGA Tour winner in South Carolina this year at 46.
Because you got Stuart Sink
Sink
and Phil.
and Phil? Nice.
That was a great. Whoever pulled that out, I forget who did that. That was a great one.
That was a
Yeah.
So yeah, DJ back after 2 rounds. I think we did our showdown show, Craig, and I said DJ or the field, and I think we both felt kind of DJ could kind of cruise control through this victory.
I was taking DJ at that point.
Yeah, me too. Positive going in U.S. Open. Yeah.
Is it? I mean, this is a field he should have won.
Yeah, of course.
And especially having either having or being just off the 36-hole lead. He essentially could have parred out from, he was at, was he at that? No, he might not have been that low, but.
He was. He was at, even today, he was at 4 under on the day, which put him at 11, and he triple bogeyed 16.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah, that friggin' putt. That was about when I had to go take my dog for a walk, and
I don't know. I still count it as a positive.
I guess coming from where he was, but it didn't have the same feel as the Houston Open before the Masters, where DJ was right there and he was pushing, and Carlos Ortiz did a good job closing out that tournament to get the win. That felt like, man, his game's on form. But yes, for where DJ has been in the wilderness, this feels like maybe he's back to being somewhat in form, but yeah.
Okay, so U.S. Open, guys who are playing in the U.S. Open, Tyrrell Hatton had 2 back-to-back 2s on par 4s on Saturday.
In my showdown lineup, yeah.
And he had a third, traditional 3-stroke eagle as well. He had 3 eagles on the day. Rory McIlroy only has 1 eagle on the entire season.
Is that true? That's still true?
That is crazy. That's the crazy part of that stat to me. It's not that Hatton had 3 in a round. It's that Rory only has 1 in the season.
In 53-ish rounds now.
I might have to change my picks here.
So, I think also with Hatton led the field in stroke gained tee to green, so that's got to be positive.
For me, I think Hatton's a bigger positive takeaway than DJ.
Yeah,
going into
I
the US
agree.
Open.
Okay, a couple other quick fire. EVR.
Yeah,
good.
Stock up. The one I was going to bring up, Doc Redmond to me. I think we can officially say that he's found form again, because it's been a couple tournaments now we've seen him play well, and this is his best finish ever, I guess, because he's never won. So definitely ties his best finish ever.
Yeah. Is Doc in the field next week?
I don't know if he is. So sorry, that might not be as U.S. Open relevant, but I just wanted to bring up good finish for Doc.
Yeah.
I hear you there. He's not in the field, but yeah, I agree with that. Matt Fitzpatrick, T10.
Yeah, I see he bounced back from that miscut. Well, thanks, Matt.
One and done sorrow over there. Harris English. We should talk about Harris English. He was in the final group with Chesson. He blew up worse. I guess relative to the par, not worse than Chesson, but he did the same thing kind of down the stretch.
Yeah, I'm having a tough time trying to figure out who Harris English is.
I think that's fair. I think he's. Oh man, that back 9 is so bad. He shot 40 on the back, eh?
Yeah.
That is not good. But I do. I was gonna say I do think Harris is finding more form, at least now than he was in the spring. After his win, he looked pretty bad for a while.
Yeah.
Well, and they did bring that up in the broadcast. I don't know how much the injury played into his struggles. I think he was struggling a little bit before. I think they said it was at the Players that he got injured. But I'm pretty sure it's a back. But I'll always kind of give someone the benefit of the doubt, especially with those soft tissue backs. How easy it is for that. Even if they're out there playing, it can affect their ability to practice. It can just be one of those things that kind of cascades throughout your game. But even still, we saw such good form from him throughout the last, the 2020 calendar year. And then it's just after his win, start of 2021, it's just fallen off.
So I think I also heard on the broadcast that Higo's part of he's hanging out with the Sea Island boys. He's hanging out with Harris English. Yeah, Davis Love's
Crew?
son. the Sea Island guys. That's where he's kind of posted up for. I mean, okay, we'll move on quickly. But do you think Higo just stays PGA Pro now?
Yes, I think so.
I mean, the money's so good. The money's so much better on the PGA Tour than the European Tour that I think as soon as he's got two years of exemptions now, so I think he'd be crazy.
Why not make a go at it? Yeah,
it's such an absurd a climb for him in such a short period of time. It really is.
Yeah,
remarkable.
I mean, you see it though from these guys that essentially, for these talented Euros, the difference between getting that breakthrough to get your card. Whether it's through a win or through qualifying, in a bunch of these larger WGCs and majors and whatnot, if you do that while you're young, it can make such a huge difference in terms of the trajectory of your career. So I like it. I like Higo, so I'm excited to see it happen.
Yeah,
I think getting the win on the PGA and getting that exemption makes it a no-brainer for him to stay. If it's kind of world rankings based, I think it can be a little bit more dicey and there's a lot more, I think, traveling back and forth. But if you get that win on the PGA Tour with the exemption, I totally agree. It changes trajectory and it makes it kind of, I think, a no-brainer to stay over more and play more PGA events.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about, can I ask you guys what you think about Brooks after missing the cut heading into the U.S. Open? Probably just no chance now. No reason I think he's got any chance in the U.S. Open, eh?
I think the miscut is good for him, to be honest.
I do too.
No, it's a full fade for me.
It's a full fade?
Yeah. Well, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
Positive on approach, positive off the tee. Doesn't have to work his knee extra. He did what he needed to do to prove that he's okay in 2 days. Get a flight out early, that Friday late flight, personal jet flight to San Diego, and he's at Torrey Pines already. I kind of love that. That's it's comparable. It's almost as positive as DJ's week with the top 10.
You're saying he's got to get his whatever number of starts he has to get meet his sponsorship requirements. He's knocked off another start, got that one in the bag.
It's just classic Brooks. PGA events, majors. All right, you guys want to show up this week? I'll show up.
Yeah.
Just kind of a glorified range session out there.
Yeah.
Competitive reps.
A little bit. Okay. Are we putting this week behind us? Moving on?
Yep. I mean, I guess one last thing, the course, interesting. I didn't watch enough. I listened to a lot of coverage through the first few days, not watching it. I think it's interesting. I would be interested in them doing events there in the future. I think it maybe not a regular yearly stop, but I think it could be the type of course that sets up well for, a President's Cup or a Ryder Cup or that type of thing. I think there's some appeal to the course. I think it's going to be tough because it's in the middle of nowhere for a whole bunch of reasons. It's not going to have the same draw. You're not going to have the local corporate sponsors to get on board. There's going to be a lot of issues with it, but
even hospitality, I wonder a little bit where are if you get a field of 150 plus all their teams, how far away are they staying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Tents up.
I'm not on any teams. I don't know. See it on a rotational for sure.
If there's any teams out there looking for a hype man, though, Adam's your guy.
Higo, man, you got this. That wasn't a backdoor. Who are those guys?
So are you like a turtle or are you like a Johnny Drama?
I mean, I think I'm the Johnny Drama, but you guys haven't done your part to be the Vince. Come on.
I always thought you were going to be the Vince. Big head,
we all
big
thought
star.
Everyone else was going to be the Vince. That was our problem. Okay, U.S. Open. 2021 U.S. Open preview picks and bold predictions. As you know, with our preview shows, this is kind of our pencil on paper's picks. If anything changes, then, we lock it in on Wednesday. But this is our pencil on paper. It hasn't changed in the last little bit. We're at Torrey Pines in La Jolla, California. I got corrected after our YouTube show, so I got that figured out north of San Diego.
And check out the YouTube show. We're not going to go as in depth into the course or anything like that. Here, this is just going to be us talking about what we are doing for picks and predictions. So check out the YouTube video if you haven't already.
But I'll put someone, no notice, Kevin. There's one U.S. Open here before. What happened there?
Oh, jeez. This is you're putting me on the spot here.
Oh, I thought you would have.
Come on. Did you expect anything different?
You're just going with the straight clips. I like that. don't have to look it up on YouTube. Kevin will give you the commentary.
I was so I was reading about that today, and I think this is one of the reasons that I had such a hard time cheering for Tiger. Like, if you look at the absurd shots that he made throughout that week, and like, you know, not just like 65-foot eagle putts or all of these type of things, but like holing out chips that are like, you know, going hard through the green and they hit the pin.
Was that
and
the one
draw.
where he hit the pole and he's in the bunker just like he can't?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
And then he eagled the next hole, I think.
Yeah, it's just like I mean, I know, you know, you look deep into the stats and like, yeah, the guy is like transcendent, but like there's just so many moments, and I feel like you get it a little bit with Spieth in today's day and age, where like it just seems like some people have more of that rub of the green luck, where like that ball finds its way into the hole.
But that, yeah. Well, I mean, we don't need to dive too far into it.
I shouldn't have opened this can of worms. If you're not a longtime golf fan, Tiger Woods won in 2008. This is what we've been talking about. No one's actually said it.
And like an iconic win where he, you know, won with a fracture in his leg. And it was a tournament he had no business winning, really, but he won it. That was kind of
when Kevin says, "Did you expect
status.
anything different?" That's because that's what the announcer said. And no, I would have been stupid to expect anything different. Like, obviously, that's what's going to happen.
My favorite clip, and I tweeted it out, was when Will Ferrell accepted the ESPY as best athlete for Tiger Woods. He's like, "That's when I knew that I wasn't just the best golfer, but the best athlete in the world." So
was that Peyton hosted? No, it wasn't.
No,
was
he went up from the crowd and accepted it.
No, but it wasn't the same year that Peyton hosted that.
Is JT.
Oh, that was a good one too. That was really, really good one. Yeah.
Good ESPYs. Number one ESPYs.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Well, we digress here.
Yeah, so much for a quick show. Okay, into our picks. Quick one and done update, because Craig, the picks are going to go to you first, because you got to get your pick and one and done out of the way.
Because
Craig's
I'm still the leader of the one and done, I guess.
Just south of 6 million. He had Ian Poulter get 56,000 this weekend. I'm in second. I'll go next at 5.5 million. I had Tommy Fleetwood. Kevin is coming off a couple missed cuts in a row at 4.4. Needs a little late season magic here to well, you're going to be on the podium, Kevin. I can tell you that. You're going to be on the podium.
The early season leader.
Yeah, after I knew I was going to get on the podium, I kind of took my foot off the pedal there, and here we are.
Kevin had Harold Varner, and it was a miscut. But I don't think you're too upset about losing Harold Varner for the season.
Oh, that's okay. I can deal with it.
Okay, Craig, over to you. Pick to win and one and done. If they're different.
So I'm splitting them. I've got a separate pick to win than my one and done. I am going for my pick to win. I cannot get away from Jon Rahm. If I had him as a one and done, I would without a doubt be plugging him in this week. I think the guy, first off, I think he's due in majors. I think, you know, it's only been a matter of time. He hasn't actually contended and been really in the drama late in a major, I would say, to this point. But he still has, you know, he's got a lot of the top tens, and he's been the performances have been good despite the drama maybe not being there. But you come to a course where his record is awesome. His game, I think he's the best golfer. Like, you know, we talk about this a lot. I think he is the number one talent, I guess you could say. I would love to say it's Rory, but Rory just hasn't, you know, we haven't seen the Rory form in a while. So I have Rahm as my pick to win. Any thoughts on that before I move on to my one and done?
Hard to really argue against it.
Do you have odds?
He's a favorite.
10 to 1.
He was
10 to
10,
1.
yeah.
So he is the highest
He is
odds.
the betting favorite right now.
You know what? I kind of agree that he is kind of the best right now. I think he is.
I couldn't help when he said, I'd love to say Rory is the best. I was just thinking, but he isn't, so you can't say that. Because Rahm, I think Rahm to me has, I don't know what his weaknesses are if he has them. Like, his game is so complete, and his short game is just magical. So, yeah, right now, I think he's probably at the top of my list as well.
Do you think, like, he has, what does this do to his psyche? Does the withdrawal at the Memorial, the positive COVID test, does it, you know, motivate him more? And he's just like, no one can stand in my way. I'm taking this. Or
I mean, I think that
extra pressure.
I think that there is the question, like, did he get fairly sick, or was it mostly asymptomatic? You know,
From the
could
sounds
he be?
of it, I think it has been asymptomatic, but I don't know that for sure.
I mean,
So
only...
is he a little bit physically, lesser?
And we
than
have
what he
from
might
other
be?
golfers, we've seen both. We've seen some guys have said that it's really taken them a while to get back into form. Other guys have been like, I didn't even really, I wasn't sick. It was just a positive test. And
yeah.
But I think, if he's physically okay, I think it's a huge chip on his shoulder. Having to essentially give up a 6-shot lead going into Sunday with a withdrawal, for sure, huge chip.
Yeah, but the thing that I I don't want to spend too long on this, but the whole psyche and the whole narrative thing, to me, at majors is when it is the most relevant. And for whatever reason, some of our best golfers right now have really struggled with the whole psyche and narrative thing. And like JT, if you look at JT's major record, it's not good. Rory's, since 2014, whenever it was that his last one was, it hasn't met the expectations of what he has done everywhere else outside of majors. And Rahm so far has kind of, he's flirted, he's had some results, but not really compared to everything else he does. So I think it is interesting, because then you look at a guy like Brooks that, I mean, half his wins are at majors, and you're just like clearly there is something going on there where either he embraces the as the moment gets bigger and everything gets a little more tense, some people, that's when they play their best, and other people are like, oh, like what I normally do, it doesn't feel normal, So I do think there's an interesting psyche aspect to it.
I think it's a huge part of all sports, but especially golf.
I think so too.
I think so, less though on like your week to week PGA Tour stops.
Yeah. Well,
I think Brooks said though, he said that he thinks majors are easier to win because half the field has already beat themselves before the tournament starts.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, that's telling for sure. Okay, Craig.
Okay, so on the one and done front, and on that note, my full fate of Brooks was just a joke. I'm going Brooks Koepka for the one and done.
I thought you might.
I even forgot you had him still. I guess.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do. If not, I need to scramble to find someone here. Yeah, I've got Brooks still. Brooks, so here, I don't know if I need to justify it. Here's his last 3 U.S. Open starts. Second, first. That's pretty much all I need to say, I feel like. I for some reason, Brooks just has this insane ability to show up in majors, so I have not used him yet, and I like him more here than I do in. I feel like any big tournament you gotta like him, but I like him better here than at the Open Championship. So I'm gonna be going with him here.
Trying to do some quick research. How's his Torrey Pines? I see he has played.
Torrey
5
Pines
rounds?
isn't great.
That's weird.
Sorry.
I have on Data Golf that he's played 5 rounds.
I have him with
that's just
3
South,
starts, a 41st miscut. So I was trying to figure out if I could play someone else, because I was trying to look for people who had, the good Torrey Pine record and the good U.S. Open record. But ultimately, Brooks doesn't have the Torrey Pine record, but I'm just assuming that he's going to find a way to get up for this. The other thing, I think Brooks, what I really hope to is that Brooks gives me a decent floor. So he had the miscut at the 2021 Masters. He hadn't missed a cut in a major. 2013 was the last time before that he had missed a cut in a major, which is, if you look at a lot of those top players, they'll have a lot of top 10s in majors, but they'll have a lot of missed cuts. And for some reason, Brooks just, I don't really understand why it happens, but it doesn't.
But I'm going to try to get one and done points on top of it.
Yeah.
I don't know, Kevin. I feel like that's kind of like an opening. Craig just gave us an opening there.
Maybe, or he just picked the winner.
Or he just picked the winner. Okay, my turn?
Yeah, you're up.
Okay, Craig thinks he has this predicted. I don't know. We'll see from his reaction here in a little bit. But my pick to win is also my...
Do you want me to say who I think it is, or no?
Sure.
I think you're going Tony Finau.
Yeah, it's Tony Finau.
Yes.
Pick to win, one and done, 28-1. I've had Tony Finau play for months. This is going to be Tony Finau's breakout, his breaking the curse, getting his first major, getting his second win. It's all going to happen here for Tony Finau. So this is where it all lines up. You guys both wasted Tony Finau on the one and done already. I've already done that research. I've been Craig had him at Farmers. He got that T2 money.
Yeah, that's true.
I gotta get him. I gotta get a little better paycheck than that T2 at Torrey. But okay, he's played here 7 times at Torrey Pines. His results, starting with the most recent going back, are 2nd, 6th, 13th, 6th, 4th, 18th, 24th. 7 times, all top 25s. 4 of them are 6 or better. Like, there's something about this place that he plays well at. Majors. Let's talk about majors a little bit. He's coming off a 10th at the Masters, an 8th at the PGA Championship. U.S. Open. He has 5 U.S. Open starts, 3 top 15s, 2 missed cuts. 8th in the most recent at Winged Foot. Okay, here's the one that's this one I put in here just to get you guys a little bit worked up. He's played in 17 major championships. He has top 10s in 10 of them. That's a 59% top 10 rate. Compare that to Tiger. Tiger's rate was only 47%. Rory's rate is 45%.
Okay, over how many?
Yeah.
What's the sample size here?
Hey, it's small. It's 17, but he top 10s in 10 of them.
Yeah, no, it's a good. So what did you say, 55?
59% of the time. He's top 10ing at majors.
So just because I have Brooks open here, Brooks is 50%. So we talk about how good Brooks is in majors. So, Brooks has the wins, but Finau, in terms of top 10s, is doing it at a higher, 10% more, a higher clip than Brooks. So
the only thing I can kind of find, like, I've been tracking these guys on Instagram. I've been tracking my picks. Tony hasn't been over in San Diego. I don't know what's going on. He got on his private jet tonight. I saw it on
T2
Instagram
last
stories.
time he was there. What does he
I
need
know.
to do?
He has all these starts. Yeah, I don't know. I wish he had the form that he had earlier in the year, like around kind of the Farmers Insurance time. But I don't know, guys. I think this is his shot.
Well, he's one of my boys.
He's your boy. He is your boy.
I'd love to see it. I don't have the same confidence you do that it's going to happen for him this week, but here's wishing him the best, I guess.
Yeah, I really like it. As soon as you said that you have someone who you've had lined up for a while, it's like it's got to be someone who really has the Torrey and the U.S. Open, and so that's when I started to narrow in based on, I also have looked at who you guys have left and who I have left, and I was like, he's still got Finau. Both of us don't. I know. I have a feeling I know what he's doing.
I'm counting on Finau. There's a lot of pressure on him. This is my breakthrough one and done opportunity. Sorry, I got excited and hit the mic there. Sorry for the feedback. But this is I've been slotting him in here for a while.
Yeah, no, I like it. I think there's good upside there. I also think he gives you a great floor.
Kevin, over to you. Pick and one and done if they're different.
Okay, guys, this is a big one for me. We know that I'm falling behind here. I need to make up some ground. I've had a few guys on my radar for the last few weeks, just kind of seeing where everybody's at. And then you guys kind of solidified what I had to do here a couple weeks back at Memorial when you both took him. Opens the door for me, Xander Schauffele, to win and one and done. So Xander has 4 career starts at U.S. Opens. He has never finished outside the top 6.
That's so crazy.
He's a hometown boy. He's been at Torrey for a couple weeks now, doing different things with Callaway, and just familiarizing himself with the course conditions. He's the stories about him playing 9-hole matches at Torrey in high school, and going to San Diego State, I think it was. His history is all over this place.
Yeah, he's got roots.
The unfortunate part is I'm really picking with my heart here because I really like Xander, and I usually try to separate these two things, but I'm just going all in with Xander here. I want him to win. I would love to see him get that maiden major victory, and so I'm putting it all on the line. Xander, get me back in the one and done.
I like it. Maybe he's, it hurts when you take someone like Xander. They get both when Adam and I had him at Memorial where he's tied for 11th. I'd take that in the pocket and play him here if I could. Even though that was $200,000, it's not the worst of paydays, but still. So Xander, the Torrey Pines record is not great, but
However,
maybe he has sacrificed all of that in order to take down the U.S. Open when it's at Torrey Pines.
So there's a couple things about Xander, in the interest of full disclosure, that I was a little worried about. The history at Torrey Pines is one, but he did have a T2 at the latest Farmers.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt. I think, Craig, he's one of your picks at Farmers for DFS. And you made an argument that like he had missed a bunch of these cuts right on the number, or it wasn't as bad.
I'm trying to make Kevin feel bad about his pick.
Listen, I told you my heart is in this one. It is what it is. I'm owning this one. The other thing, I don't love to see a miscut at the PGA and at the Players, kind of two big tournaments. It makes me somewhat question the psyche a little bit if these, like what we're talking about, if these big tournaments, you kind of build them up to be more than they need to be. And with this being, it's pretty much as big as it gets for him. Hometown, U.S. Open.
I think he's got a good mental game, though. Personally,
I think so too. I think
he is a major winner. I think he has the major winning mentality. I just think it kind of hasn't happened for him. It hasn't clicked yet. More so than some of these other top guys that I feel like, they're good at kind of beating up on soft fields, but they're not as good. Like the hard courses, the stacked fields.
Yeah.
I think Xander can take down that kind of tournament. And
I think Xander's just the perfect grinder for a U.S. Open style.
Knocks it out there.
And I think I want to just see him get it done at one where everything's kind of just stacked up right there in front of him. Don't backdoor to the PGA Championship. Here's the one you want in your hometown. Mm-hmm. Just go get it. Love to see it happen.
It also seems like, before a big movie release comes out, these actors have to go on the press tour, right? Their press junket circuit. Xander seems to be kind of doing that. It seems like it's leading. He's doing all these podcasts, these interviews,
and normally I would shy away from somebody who's doing that leading into a tournament because I think it can be a little bit distracting. But I'm just saying this time, Xander, just lean into it and get her done.
Okay. The other thing, I don't know if you guys have listened to it. He was on, I forget what their podcast is called, but Colton Ost and
right.
Sleazy, whatever. Drew Stoltz, is that it?
Yeah.
But he is just such a down to earth, gives you a straight answer, thinks about it, gives you the straight answer, and I don't know. He just seems like the kind of person that would be a very enjoyable person to be around, and also the kind of person that you feel no matter what it is they're doing, you're I think he's gonna do a pretty good job of it. He kind of gives off that vibe.
Yeah.
So you mentioned his U.S. Open record here, 4 straight top 10s to start it. Do you know the last person to have 4 straight top 10s to start their U.S. Open career?
Tony Finau.
No.
Bobby Jones.
Wow.
Cool.
We have to go back about 90 years, close to 100 years here, 1920 to 1926. Justin Ray Golf, one of the best statisticians out there, pulling these stats out. Bobby Jones had 7 straight. Xander is the first person to do 4 straight.
And there's only
Let's keep it rolling, Xander.
20 guys probably playing when Bobby Jones is doing it.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. Okay, I like those. There's a lot of good narratives there. Craig knows I love the narrative street. It's going against his data brain, but hey. Sleepers. Who wants to go first for sleepers? We're top of the board. Craig,
I'll go first for sleepers.
All right, Kev.
So my sleeper is who I actually picked for the one and done at the Farmers, which is Adam Scott.
I like it.
Adam Scott is 80-1. He flashed for me pretty good at the Farmers. I was excited for a few rounds there. He kind of faded a little bit towards the end of the tournament and didn't finish as high as he could have. But he seems to like the course's game. He's got the game for Torrey. He plays in that Farmers. He played the par 5s very, very well, which is something I think that the winner will have to do. One of the par fives is, I believe it's the seventh, I want to say, is converted to a long par four for the U.S. Open.
It's par 71.
I'm pretty sure he like hit his approach inside of like 5 feet every time on that hole and missed half the putts, but he still could make par, even if it's a par four. So I just like his game, his fit for Torrey, and at 80-1, I think he's the kind of guy we were talking about before. Is your sleeper somebody who can win or just have a high finish? I think Adam Scott can win. Like, he's kind of got to find lightning in a bottle for the week, but he has the game to get it done. And if you saw him up there on Saturday, you're not going to be like, oh, like, where did he come from? It's like, yeah, it's Adam Scott. He's a super, super good player,
Yeah.
So he's my guy.
Yeah. So from what I know, 2 starts at the Farmers, 2nd and 10th. And then he was here in 2008 as the number 3 ranked player in the world. Played with a broken hand. I know, probably got left behind in all the broken leg.
That
talk,
overshadows Tiger for sure.
Probably a greater accomplishment, some would say. But he was 26th in 08 with a broken hand.
That is a greater accomplishment.
Yeah.
Top 26 with a broken hand.
Yeah. Okay, so Adam, you want to go?
You go, Craig.
So we were talking about this. So the guy I'm choosing is not necessarily someone I think is going to win it. But I really like how this person is playing right now. I think that they are going to do better than they are, than their odds. I'm going Christian Bezuidenhout at 125-1.
Ooh.
I think he's played well at very hard courses. I think he's played well in strong fields. He has not missed a cut since the Aberdeen Standard Investment Scottish Open in October 2020. So, we've seen a lot of good golf. He's someone, so I kind of had a hard time not thinking about this from a DFS point of view. But he's the type of person that I'm going to be looking at. I really like him. I want to say he's offhand, I don't know, but I want to say he's about 7,200 in on DraftKings, close to there, anyways. But I just think that he was 7th at Arnold Palmer. He's just it seems like he's made every cut. Well, it's because he has, but it seems like his finishes haven't necessarily been as high as it seems like he's been relevant in a lot of this. I think he got screwed over a little bit at the PGA Championship by the draw and how it played out with wins. He was 30th there. I really think that maybe a top 10 from Christian Bez isn't out of the question.
Yeah, I think that's a good pull that far down on the odds list, to be honest with you.
Usually I go at 50-1 or whatever we said is the minimum for sleepers, and you guys give me a hard time. So this time I had to go a little bit further down.
I'm a big Bez fan, and I think we're all big Bez fans. It's gonna be interesting, the low South African, whoever. I mean, there's
that will be a very interesting one.
Here's why I agree. I don't know if he can win. Driving distance, this is only PGA Tour stats, 286, 188th in the PGA Tour. Greens in regulation, 205th in the PGA Tour, 59%. But then you're like, oh, he's 6th around the green. And
I was going to say, look at what he does after he misses those greens. So
Yeah.
and then
It's just like, when you first look at it, you're like, well, how's he getting it done? Oh, because he only has max 2 strokes around the green.
Yeah.
Like, he goes up and down every time.
And it's a little bit weird because, like long term, so 2 years, this is data golf 2 years, so it takes European Tour and PGA.
Yeah.
He gains over a stroke, like well over a stroke. He's like almost 1.2 between putting around the green, which is like, those are crazy numbers that you don't kind of expect that to be a long-term sustainable, but he has weeks where he pokes it out there and does a decent enough job with his ball striking, and the short game is world class, obviously.
Yeah, I like it.
But I also think that's where in hard, everyone's ball striking is not as good under these kind of conditions. So maybe that's where everyone has to rely on the short game more than they're comfortable doing, as opposed to the birdie fest PGA Tour weeks.
Yeah.
I do agree with that, but if they're in the rough, I'd rather them be in the rough 310 yards than
as opposed to for sure.
It's stretched out.
I mean,
think
it's the Bryson DeChambeau at winged foot scenario
Totally.
where if you're gonna be in the roughs, I'd rather be 50 yards closer.
Yeah. Okay. My sleeper time. I'm going a little bit closer to our kind of cutoff here. I'm going Joaquin Niemann at 66 to 1. Probably more of a DFS play than, the outright at 66 to 1, but I don't hate that he could have a major breakthrough here. That would be pretty cool.
Take the each way, I would say.
I would take the each way on that one for sure. Up until the Memorial, he had, I think, 20 cuts in a row. I counted, I think he had 21 events, but then there's a WGCs and no cut events, around 20 events in a row where he was playing the weekend. So he's on this incredible cut streak up until the Memorial, which was his last event, and he missed the cut. But his last time, so I was doing some digging on official golf rankings. Last time he missed a cut, the next event was a T3 at the BMW Championship. So clearly he can bounce back after a missed cut. That was his fourth best result ever in OWGR points. So he's 22. Joaquin Niemann's still 22. Same age as Sung Jae, Garrick Higo. Like he's still young. But his best three major performances have been his last three. All top 40s in each. He doesn't have a top 10 yet. He's 8th in the PGA Tour in driving distance, so he can push it out there for a wiry kid. He's 15th on the PGA season in strokes gained total. Here's where I did some digging. Here's where I did my research, and I stumble upon this. He's only played Torrey Pines twice. He made both cuts. I think it's like a 72 and a 40 something. But in 2015, he won the IMG Academy Junior World Golf Championships at Torrey Pines South. So there you go. He beats a Heath Thegala.
I was going to say, who else was in the field? Like, I want to...
Those are the only two names I recognize. They were the only two under par. Joaquin Niemann pulled it out. So clearly he has some good experience around Torrey Pines. It seems a little bit shorter than it should, but I also think he is on the rise. And, that top 10 in a major is coming through. I think it's a better DFS play. But, yeah, as Craig said, it's probably more of an each way top 10, top 20 type bet.
Yeah, at 23rd, I don't know if you mentioned this, 23rd at the U.S. Open last year. The one concern I would say that I have, and I do like the pick, I think, overall, he is someone who I think of having a lot more roll to their distance than, like a Bryson or a Rory. Yep. So if we're talking thick, heavy, rough, narrow fairways, you're not going to get that, like, unless you're hitting the fairways and you're rolling and you end up in the rough or not, whatever, but you're getting the roll still. If you're not actually getting that landing in the fairway, that's the only thing I would say I worry about. But overall, I do like the play.
So what you're telling me is coastal golf, low apex. Yeah, he played pretty good in Hawaii and that kind of thing.
What I'm saying is the low apex may not be what you want.
True. They're usually pretty hard greens.
Speaking of which, I think we're looking at pretty good conditions for this weekend.
Yeah,
it looks like it. Yeah,
it does look beautiful. Yeah. Okay, guys, fades. I feel like I got a good one here. Can I jump in?
Jump in there.
Okay, my fade is 2020 U.S. Open champion Bryson DeChambeau.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Here we go. Bryson, what's his number? Let me pull up his number real quick.
16
He's 16.
16 to 1. Don't do that. Torrey Pines, he's played twice, guys. He's played twice. 2 missed cuts. But okay, you have to see. On the Farmers Insurance, they play a South round and they play a North round. His 2 best rounds have been on the North round. His South rounds have been 78 and 76. This course just chews him up and spits him out. Come on, Bryson. It's a little while ago. It was before the brief.
I was going to say, wasn't he like an amateur basically when he played this?
U.S. Am champ. Yeah, he's still winning back.
2017, 2018 were his two. But anyways, yeah, I got you.
Okay, recent form. He's lost strokes gained approach in 2 of his last 3 tournaments. Kind of a red flag, but here's the big red flag. He's lost strokes gained strokes gained putting in 2 of his last 3.
Yeah, that is to me the bigger one.
He pushes out there and he's a top 20, top 10 player when he's putting well, or a putter in the world when he's for the season, usually for a big sample size.
And that's something we haven't touched on yet, but the POA greens here are notorious for being, a little more unpredictable. Statistically, the putting on POA from, I think, inside 8 feet or 4 to 8 feet, it's guys miss on POA, I think 2 to 3% more putts in that range on POA than any other surface. So it gets a little bit more unpredictable and a little bit more dicey when you're in close.
Especially, I think, late in the day.
I do want to correct
about the POA butting.
Yeah. He's negative strokes gained approach in 2 of the last 4, and strokes gained putting in 2 of the last 3. I had those.
I mean, so the big one for me, I think Bryson of recent, so call it the current iteration of Bryson, his approach, he's not consistent, but then like 1 week it'll show up and his distances will be on and it'll statistically be very good. It never really looks that good, but statistically it'll be very good. But the putting to me is the one where I think there's a little bit more, trending streakiness to that, even though that week to week for any PGA Tour player, there is less of that. But his approach, I think, since he has kind of gone this distance route, has been erratic. And kind of I don't know if he was in great form with it going into the last U.S. Open. But I like the fade. I think there's going to be a lot of people that see U.S. Open long rough, they just assume he's going to do the same thing he did again, and so they're going to think that he's a play, he's a pick, he's a whatever it is, and I'm not quite ready to commit to that.
Yes, kind of further to Kevin's POA comment, in his best performances, top 20 performances on OWGR, I don't think any are on the West Coast, where we traditionally see these type of greens. Yeah. I think the bumpiness factor is something that you can't see on his green book, and does throw him off a little bit. Maybe you could get under his skin a little bit, be like, why did it bump over there?
Yeah,
and just
he did everything perfect and it didn't go in.
Yeah, how is that possible?
He accounted for every variable.
Well, except for that variable.
Yeah.
Okay, who's up for fade?
Greg, go for it.
Yeah, I got it. This feels like low-hanging fruit at this point, but I'm fading DJ. Maybe it's not low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, I don't think so.
He's the number one player in the world. But I just don't understand how we're still giving him. He's second in the odds at 14-1. This is what I was saying with Pump the Brakes. I don't think the form is as good as it. I'm still not seeing the same DJ as we saw going into Augusta last year, or anything like that. Similar to what Adam is saying, well, I lost my spot here now, but similar to what Adam was saying about Bryson, I think Dustin has a poor Torrey Pines record. He has 9 starts, single top 10. He was third here back in 2011. But, from 2008 through 2017, he has 9 starts, 3 missed cuts, just a single top 10. Dustin Johnson over that period of time should have more than a single top 10 if it's a course that fits him well. So a bit of a cause for concern. The U.S. Open record is good. There's you can't mess around with the U.S. Open record. I just think the combination of the form, I still don't think it's back to being worthy of being the second shortest odds in the field, and a course that he doesn't necessarily have a stellar record at. He was here in 2008 and he was 48th. So, what do you even... it also was his first U.S. Open start and he was a young, probably just turned pro or something.
Still rocking that soul patch and
exactly. Yeah. Soul patch and baggy pants. But no, yeah, I'm fading Dustin Johnson. I don't think, to me, I'm not giving him the second shortest odds in the field.
Yeah, I don't think that's low-hanging fruit. I think that's a bit of a bold call, honestly.
I kind of as well. I just recently picked him as in the PGA. I don't think he's ever far off,
and he goes from shooting 80s to being the most dominant golfer in the world. So,
and let's be honest, would I wouldn't be surprised if he won or if he missed the cut. So
me neither. And I guess that's where maybe odds to win is a different thing than I think there's a huge erratic nature to what his potential results are, and and I guess I typically think about things through more the DFS point of view, but I don't want anything to do with it
in DFS.
I mean, we're still talking a guy who we're talking about a guy who, since the Saudi International, has not had a top 10. Was he top 10 this week? Oh, he was.
Do you think that's karma after he hit that guy in the back?
I think it probably is. He was tied for 10th in a field that was not exactly, the best field in the world. So I'm still not giving him any sort of he's back stamp. Yeah, that's where I'm at. And I forgot about the hitting the Marshall.
I was just going to go on a tangent about these players. Both are fades, not calling 4 anymore. Do professional golfers not yell 4 anymore?
It sounds like you and Bobby McIntyre should talk about that.
I would love to have that sit down.
Do you know what he did? I forget who it was he chewed out, but a lot of the European tours think that American golfers don't yell 4, and at I want to say it was at the Open Championship. It may have been at kind of one of the other European tour events right before the Open Championship, but he was calling someone out.
Did Bobby Mack call it at the WGC when he hit it up to
I don't know whether he did or not.
Or was that just more of a warning, I'm going to win this group type shot?
Your putts don't matter, guys. They're irrelevant.
Kevin.
Okay.
It was Kyle Stanley, just in case you were wondering.
Okay.
Okay, well, I am going to be fading a Mr. Jordan Spieth this week.
I considered it.
In the top 5, we're fading 3 of them, so I think that's pretty good.
No longer can we pick guys outside the top 10 for fades. It's in the top 5.
Jordan Spieth is 18-1. We have officially said a number of times on this podcast that Jordan Spieth is back to being the old Jordan Spieth. But I just don't think that the U.S. Open is the best tournament for him. He's not the longest hitter. He's erratic, and he seems to make it work. But I think the U.S. Open is going to be a little more penal. His history at Torrey is a little mixed. I stuck more to recent history. He missed the cut at the Farmers. It's going to be playing so long this week that I don't think that favors him. His U.S. Open history, since his win at Chambers Bay, I believe, in 2015, he hasn't finished in the top 30.
Wow, really?
And he's missed 2 cuts along the way there. So, yeah, I just don't think the U.S. Open is the best setup for him, and I don't think that Torrey is the best setup for him. And with him being, one of the favorites, essentially, I'm shying away from him this week. I love that he's back, and I love what he's doing, and a lot of weeks I think it could be him. Why not him? But I just don't really see it this week with some of the big hitters and some of the form that they're showing right now.
So I guess this speaks to the level that Jordan Spieth is back, because I almost had him as my fade here, and then when Jordan Spieth kind of is where he is right now, I just have no comfort level in fading him. So I was like, no, I'll fade DJ. I don't want anything to do with the Spieth magic.
I'll flip a coin with DJ with a win or miss cut here.
Exactly. Whereas Spieth, I just feel like he when he's playing golf like he is right now, and I do think I think it's probably on a DFS side, I think it's going to be a fade, but it's just, there's something about the Spieth magic that has truth to it, and so while it is a fade, it's like a beware the Spieth magic.
Yeah, I kind of echo that as well. I think it's a DFS fade, but I don't think he's a good fit here. But it's also Jordan Spieth.
All the logic points to a fade.
But what did I say in the preview? He has 8 top 10s in his last 12 events. Like, that's absurd. How well he's, or how quick.
That was all in Texas, baby.
I don't know if there's 8 events in Texas. Augusta, combine them. There you go. There's Jordan Spieth.
Yeah.
Okay. I did want to point out here. I think the official golf rankings have updated since we've been on air. Eric Higgo is now 39th in the world. He's above Max Homa, Shane Lowry, Justin Rose, Adam Scott. He's
coming.
up there.
He was the top ranked left-hander in the world for some time, I think. Wasn't that what you were saying, or no?
No, Bobby Mack was. I was
Bobby
telling
Mack
Kevin to
was,
watch
yeah,
out for
okay.
his boy Bobby Mack. He's no longer going to be top lefty, and he's not.
Higo and Phil. Higo's coming for Phil, I think.
Wait, where's Phil now?
Phil is 30th.
30th.
Oh yeah.
You win a major at Museo, ways up that
Yeah, I
list.
guess that does get you quite a few points.
Okay.
Top Canadian.
Top Canadians.
We have Corey Connors, Adam Hadwin, Mackenzie Hughes, and for the second time, Taylor Pendrith is in the U.S. Open again. So, you guys are both nodding. Kevin, do you want to start us off your top Canadian?
I am going to go with Corey Connors. I can't really, with confidence, go with anybody else. He's just playing too well.
Yeah. Greg?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to pick Pendrith. Mackenzie Hughes' game seems like it's in the wilderness right now. Hadwin, I there's places I'd find a way to pick Hadwin. Pendrith bombs it, so I feel like I'd love to. And I think he actually did well at the U.S. Open at Windfoot. I think he might have been
Great. He did
low
fantastic.
Canadian there, right? Let me
Is
see.
that
I've
what
got
was
it
in
here.
this
He was
field?
tied for 23rd at the U.S.
Oh.
Open in Windfoot. Can I dive myself into it? Yeah, let's do it. I'll go Taylor Pendrith.
So I
Way
was
to go,
looking at
Greg.
Pendrith
Out
for a
on a
little
limb.
bit. I was going Pendrith for a little bit. That's by far and away his best, strokes in total in data golf with all the weights and measurements and all that. He's been T23 in the Corn Ferry, T8, T43, T17. These are his most recent results on the Corn Ferry Tour. Like, he should be doing a little bit better. So if the incoming form, was a string of a couple top 10s in the Corn Ferry Tour, yeah, but it is. I mean, he is interesting.
Listen, if I was betting on it, I would not take Pendrith. I would take Connors. I'm just taking Pendrith purely as
I don't know. His odds might be good for top Canadian. But yeah, I'm going Connors. That being said, no, I think he qualified on this past Monday on golf's longest
sounds like
day.
the good form.
Okay, that leads us to bold predictions. I love this one because it's never going to be bold enough with you two. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, I got a bold one for you guys this week.
Okay,
All right, well,
great,
kick us
great.
off.
Yeah.
Okay. So we Adam has a way of just deciding what it is that a sleeper is, and there's no rhyme or reason. And so this week we kind of, at first I think we had said 75 a long time ago, and then we moved up to 50, and then this week he said 60. So
That's only because I wanted Neiman at 66.
You know that there's a whole bunch of guys I liked at 55, so I had to find a way to get one of my guys in here. Louis Oosthuizen, he's 55-1. I'm going with Louis Oosthuizen. And now, we've spoken about him before. He's got the Silver Slam. He's been runner-up at all the tournaments. I was thinking about saying Louis Oosthuizen is either a second or a tied for second, but I couldn't quite commit to that sort of bold prediction. So I feel like top 5 is a little weak. I'll say Louis Oosthuizen top 3. He's got 2 top 3s in his last 3 major starts, if I'm reading this correctly. So yeah, we'll go Louis Oosthuizen top 3 at the U.S. Open.
I don't think you are, because it's all jumbled in 2020. So he has a T2 at PGA and a third of the U.S. Open, but the Masters I think was after U.S. Open.
That's true. So he was 3rd at the U.S. Open, and then 23rd at the Masters, 26th at the Masters, and 2nd at the PGA.
Yeah, those horrible finishes of 23rd and 26th. That's bold. So sorry, is Louis Oosthuizen T3
top
better?
3? Yeah.
Kevin?
You go first, Adam.
No, I was just your reaction to that. I think that's bold. Looking at his history,
bold.
he has that Silver Slam, but he doesn't have a ton of top 10s.
But when he gets top 10s, most of them are in the top 3.
That is true.
I mean, is that even bold if he's done it like 50% of the time in the last 4 majors? No, I think it's a good bold call.
Not bold enough. Greg, yeah, your boy Louis. I don't know what to say about you and Louis. You have this connection that I cannot explain, and you seem to have a good pulse on him. So
here's a crazy one, and I don't know if this is still holding up. Let me refresh the page, but Louis Oosthuizen, his odds on, so usually we use Bet365 for the odds that we are telling you guys. Over on Pinnacle, his odds are down to 19. So they float around a lot more over there. But his odds are down to 19-1, which it seems a little bit crazy. Until I refresh it, he was actually lower than Rory, but he's ahead of JT, Morikawa, Xander Schauffele. I don't know why there's so much money moving over to Louis Oosthuizen, but
what's going on? Like Ernie and Gary Player, like big stakes in Louis or something.
This podcast isn't even live yet. They haven't even heard Craig's take.
They haven't even heard my bold prediction.
Yeah, Craig, I like it. The books must know something.
Maybe it's just they're delusional like I am about Louis.
So, okay, I feel like mine's kind of flat, Kevin. So I'm going to go next here and kind of sandwich it in between hopefully two bolder takes. How's that sound?
That sounds great.
So mine is that, okay, no golfer has won the Puerto Rico Open and then won a PGA tournament in the U.S. The Puerto Rico curse. It's kind of, I mean, I thought it was broken
but would this actually cancel the port? Like, this isn't a PGA Tour event. It's a USGA.
It's a USGA event. You know, we had Hovland winning Mayakoba. I thought that it was over then, but then people are finding this new angle to the course, especially with Chesson Hadley, who's a Puerto Rico Open champion. It hit this week, so I'm like, okay, I kind of have to revisit this. So I'm going to say the curse is broken forever at the 2021 U.S. Open. So obviously I got Tony Finau in my pocket, my win and one and done. But I also got a sneaky Hovland in there. And then if I just need a little like outside chance, I got Brandon Grace. Maybe he could pull up a Puerto Rican curse upset here. So I got three guys.
Is that it? No Hadley in the field?
I don't think I didn't really check, to be honest.
I don't know if he is.
I assume not.
Yeah, we'll have to do if some long shot wins it. We'll have to go back to see if they won the Puerto Rico. I
did scroll down to the early '90s. You're like, okay, who came over here? Stuart Singh. Did you do something crazy? No, of course not. Finau, Hovland, Brandon Grace. One of them gets the win. Puts this Puerto Rico curse to bed, and it's over. Preferably Finau.
Yeah,
is it bold?
I think it's bold. I mean, essentially, you're saying Finau or Hovland are winning it. I think there still would be the remaining question of whether it really has fully been eliminated, or a PGA Tour event in the continental United States.
Is this curse just like on life support then? If that happened, like, come on. Okay, Kev, bold prediction.
Okay, well, my bold prediction is focused more around winning score.
Oh, I was thinking about going this route.
I like it. Okay.
So it's as a baseline, I've kind of had to use the 2008 U.S. Open. So in that one, Rocco and Tiger were the only two players under par at 1 under par, which tied for, they tied and went into a playoff. My bold prediction is that the winning score will be -6 or lower.
Like 7, 8.
Yes.
Oh.
And I was considering going double digits until I remembered about that par 5 7th being converted to a par 4, which,
fair.
It takes away some scoring opportunities. So I'm going to say -6 or lower. I also was thinking about putting, a number on how many players would finish under par, but it's then I just don't know where to stop, it's just, so I'm going winning score, -6 or better.
I like it. I think that's a good number. I think I'll give it to you as a bold prediction. I think that is bold, considering how the USGA will try to get their number that they have in their minds. And
yeah,
it seems to be more around even than anywhere else.
That's what they want, and I think these guys no longer are daunted by the USGA's version of hard, I guess that's the focus of my bold prediction, is that long, rough, and length is not the issue anymore.
Yeah. Craig's doing some research over there. I can
Well,
see
I'm just trying to find out what the line is. I'm struggling to find it here. Oftentimes we don't get our props. I found a few places that have props, but I don't see a winning or a winning score one yet. No, so I didn't fully listen to the last part of that, but what I was thinking about doing was 10 players under par.
I was thinking 10, but 10 wasn't quite enough. I was thinking if I was going to maybe go to 15 under par. So instead of...
So minus 6 as your winning score is what you're saying. Minus 6 or lower. Score. Yeah. Yes. I like it. I think that is bold. It was -1 here. We had 2 guys under par. I mean, obviously the conditions can go in any direction, but no, I like it. I think...
And if you want the most bold call of all, I'm going to say Xander Schauffele wins at -7.
I like it.
Okay.
I like so much about that.
Xander at -7, Tony Finau at -6, Louis Oosthuizen at -5. It's 1, 2, 3. All our hearts are kind of... mine's the most broken in the Finau, but I'm also expecting it a little.
You took him on the each way.
Yeah, I took him on the each way. I like it, guys. I'm excited for this week.
Me too.
U.S. Open it's one that always kind of gets exciting.
I mean, for me, I don't know if it's a West Coast thing or what it is, but Torrey too. Maybe it's a Tiger connection. It's exciting.
I forgot about the West Coast. I kind of like waking up and seeing like a couple guys on 8 already, you know?
See, yeah. I hear you, and like I just would rather not have to like, my puppy wakes me up at 5 a.m. to want to be let out to go to the bathroom, so I let him out. And like when I know that, then when the PGA Championship's on, then I'm like, oh well, I'm up anyway, so like I might as well just stay up. Whereas like if it's on the West Coast here, then I'm like, well, they're not even teeing off yet, so I should go back to sleep for another few hours. So yeah, I'm pretty happy for a nice West Coast major here.
I'm opposite. Give me that Open. Give me the Open where I'm just grinding through the night. What's going on? In bed at 2 a.m., up at 4 a.m.
Yeah. The Olympics on the other side of the world. That's what you want.
I guess we're both on the same coast here. I guess they don't really hit balls in the water at Torrey, but I've hit balls in that ocean. They might hit balls. I see that ocean, It's
my
close
ball
to my
from
heart.
Hawaii has made its way over to the coast. Yeah, coast of California. Hey guys, any final thoughts before we close it? I'll give the floor if you want it. Any final thoughts?
No, I mean, there's a lot of guys we didn't get to talking about. We're going to get to a few of those guys, obviously in our DFS previews.
Yep. Watch those.
If all of my predictions come wrong and Rory wins this, I'm going to be pretty okay with that. That's, I guess, the one thing I'll leave it with.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, that's our 2021 U.S. Open Preview Picks and Bold Predictions show. Thank you for listening. Hit that thumbs up if you're listening on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe to our podcast. If you're listening on YouTube, also go over, subscribe to our podcast. Rate and review. Thank you, everybody, for listening. As Craig said, we have a ton of U.S. Open content coming out, so make sure to watch out for that. Good luck, and we will see you again soon.
Take care,
Give
guys.
it to Phil, everyone. Thumbs up.
Pop that thumb.